I love testing things on my body. I've always been my own little science experiment, a guinea pig for self-care hacks. But now that I've got a tiny human growing inside of me, things are a little different. Obviously, when you're pregnant and you're growing a developing fetus inside your body, you want to be extra cautious of all the things you're putting in and on your body. Today, I want to talk about some of my favorite things that I've had to give up and what I'm doing instead. I really want this video to be relevant to people who are pregnant and not pregnant alike. If you're not pregnant, good news. You can do all the things that I am missing. So you can think of this kind of as a reverse favorites video. These are some of my favorite things that I've had to find swaps for. All right, let's get into it. This video is sponsored by Ritual. Number 1, Tretinoin. If you have followed my skincare journey on this channel, I am a huge lover of Tretinoin, also known as retinoic acid, the most potent form of vitamin A that we can put on our skin. You actually need a prescription to get it. I am such a fan of it because it's just so effective for so many different things, for acne, for fine lines. It even actually helped my rosacea, which seems counterintuitive, but it just, Mwah, mwah, mwah. I love tretinoin so much, but it is something that once you become pregnant, you have to remove from your routine. Specifically, there's lots of research on oral isotretinoin, also known as Accutane, and how this can actually cause birth defects. While the risk from topical tretinoin is thought to be lower, most, if not all, guidelines I've read avoid recommending it entirely during pregnancy out of caution. This is a perfect example where you just really want to err on the side of safety. I will say, for those of you who are not pregnant and interested in tretinoin, I really loved using this agency formula. I have no affiliation to agency, not sponsored, they don't even know I exist, but I loved this formula so much because they start you off at a very, very low amount. So I started at 0.009% tretinoin and then slowly built up over time. Whereas most classic prescription formulas that you would get through a regular dermatologist is probably going to be 0.05% tretinoin, which is so much higher than the 0.009% that I started with. And the key to not getting irritated by tretinoin, because it is so strong, is to start very slowly and let your skin get used to it. What I also love about agency is they create a custom formula for your skin. Granted, custom might be a little bit of a generous term because I'm pretty sure they have set different formulations that they kind of put you into different buckets. This will work well for this skin, this will work well for this skin. But either way, they have lots of different variations. The formula I was using that contained tretinoin also contained a number of other really powerful skincare ingredients that I also love. So I've actually continued to use agency. I've just told them, hey, look, I'm pregnant, so I can no longer use tretinoin. What do you recommend instead? And the agency dermatologist recommended for me azelaic acid. I was a little bit apprehensive at first to try azelaic acid because I've tried it in the past with other formulas like Paula's Choice, and my skin didn't really seem to like it. But because I had faith in agency's super calming formula that I had used previously, I decided to try the azelaic acid version of their future formula, and I love it. It has not irritated my skin at all. I'm still able to get all of these other beautiful skincare ingredients in addition to azelaic acid, so I've only removed the tretinoin, and my skin is pretty happy. I will say I have seen a little bit more crepiness in my skin without tretinoin. Tretinoin just is like a wonder drug for my skin. It works so well. But considering I'm no longer using tretinoin, I'm super happy with this azelaic acid based formula. Azelaic acid is wonderful for people who struggle with acne and rosacea. I definitely, especially prior to pregnancy, struggled with acne and rosacea, although during pregnancy, my skin has become a lot more dry and calm. I think at the end of this video, I'll review some interesting things I've noticed about my body during pregnancy because it's just been very fascinating. And then in the morning, I am leaning heavily on vitamin C. I'm going for this classic heavy hitter, the SkinCeuticals Vitamin C E Ferulic. This product is really wonderful. It's expensive. I have yet to find a vitamin C serum that gets me the same results without any irritation. So if you guys know a great dupe for this SkinCeuticals CE Ferulic, I would love to hear about it because this is not cheap. I would love it if my skincare routine didn't cost a fortune, but I have to say that I see clear results with this vitamin C serum, an evenness in my skin tone, a brightness. I think it keeps the crepiness at bay that is developing without the tretinoin. So I'm very happy with azelaic acid and vitamin C as pregnancy-safe alternatives to tretinoin. Number 2, vibration plates. So whole body vibration therapy has not been well studied in pregnancy, but occupational exposure studies of women working in factories or in vibrating vehicles suggest that prolonged vibration may increase risks of miscarriage, preterm labor, or low birth weight. So even though a home vibration plate isn't identical, the absence of safety data means most doctors will advise against using a vibration plate. But if you aren't pregnant and you haven't tried a vibration plate, I'm going to link a few videos on vibration plates down below because I am so in love with it. I think most people seem to really like it, but not everyone. So if you are considering exploring vibration plates, definitely try to go to a gym. I've heard Planet Fitness has vibration plates, some sort of medical clinic or gym where you can try vibration plates before investing in one, but I'm obsessed. What I notice is it makes me feel very calm. It helps with muscle recovery. It kind of drains out any lactic acid, and I feel like I recover from my workouts so much more quickly. It's amazing at fixing constipation and getting things moving. It's also just very mentally calming to me. And I do feel like I see some sort of lymphatic movement effects where my whole body just sort of it's a little more sculpted, not necessarily because it's increasing my muscle mass, because it's just moving the fluids around in my body. So as a swap, it's not really the same, but my version of recovery is walking. And so I have been walking all over the place. I try to get 15,000 steps a day, and walking is one of the best pregnancy-safe, underrated forms of movement. You guys know how much I love walking on this channel. Because I'm not yet very big and I'm barely showing, I will also use a weighted belt on my walks, which I've really been enjoying to just up the intensity of my walk a bit and perhaps train my body for when I have a giant belly. Walking is not the same as a vibration plate, but it does offer some semblance of recovery and especially muscle recovery after doing a more intense workout. And it gives me the mental relaxation that I love about vibration plates. Something that I might treat myself to is a lymphatic massage, especially of my legs. I feel like they're pretty expensive where I live, so we'll see if I actually do that, but that might be another pregnancy safe swap that I can just get my legs massaged and feel good in my body. I know my description of vibration plates is so vague, but they just make me feel good in my body. And there's also tons of research on how it supports bone density and a bunch of other things in our body. So definitely check out a vibration plate video if you want to learn more about that. Number 3, rhodiola functional mushrooms and nootropics. I have tried lots of different adaptogens, nootropics. I think it's so fascinating how different compounds, herbs can make us feel. Over the years, I've tested so many things, and rhodiola remains one of my absolutely favorite supplements. I try to be minimalistic with supplements. I do like testing stuff, but at the end of the day, what I continue to put into my body consistently, I try to keep very minimal. What I notice when I take rhodiola is that I just have a very calm, positive demeanor. It just takes the stress dial and turns it down a little bit in life. And I'll actually link a Physionic video on rhodiola down below. I'm such a fan of Physionic. If you haven't checked out Nick's channel, definitely do. Highly recommend. Very well researched. But because there's not enough information on it in pregnant women and you just want to err on the side of caution, I have removed all unnecessary supplements from my routine, and rhodiola was one of them. So if you are not pregnant and you have not tried rhodiola, might be something to discuss with your doctor and to look into, because I'm a genuine fan. I was also testing this Mind Lab Pro blend before pregnancy and really enjoying it and feeling really good on it. All of these things have limited or no pregnancy safety data, and some of these herbs and nootropics can affect neurotransmitters, blood pressure, hormones, and they can just be potentially risky in pregnancy. So this is an example of just err on the side of safety, keep things simple, eat whole foods. So goodbye rhodiola for now. But one simple compound that also has calming effects and is considered pregnancy safe is L-theanine. And I love L-theanine. It's naturally found in green tea, so I get it naturally a lot through green tea. But you can also buy L-theanine in supplements. This is also something to consider if you get headaches or jitters when you drink coffee. Adding in an L-theanine supplement can really mitigate any negative effects from caffeine. That's why often matcha and green tea is thought to have a more stable, relaxed caffeine high because of the L-theanine that balances out the effects of the caffeine in green tea. But if you are someone who is pregnant looking for something to help ease stress, L-theanine is considered pregnancy safe. Again, please talk to your own doctor and OBGYN about every single thing you want to supplement. We all have unique bodies, we have unique contexts. I actually have to take special medication during pregnancy to minimize my risk of getting a blood clot. We always want to make sure we're checking in with our physician, our OBGYN, when making these sorts of choices. But L-theanine is kind of my swap for rhodiola for now. Speaking of supplements and being mindful of what we're putting in our body, today I'm so excited to share the sponsor of today's video, Ritual, and their Natal choline supplement. So I've been a fan of Ritual for over a year, absolutely loving their Hyacera skin formula, but now that I'm pregnant, I am opting for their Natal choline. And choline is super duper important for fetal brain development and even brain development after birth. A landmark study in 2018 at Cornell University found that pregnant women who consumed higher choline intake had infants with faster information processing speeds. Essentially, choline is like a brain-building nutrient. Most pregnant women in the US don't meet the recommended intake of 450 milligrams of choline per day. So this is an additional supplement you can take on top of your prenatal to add more choline into your diet. So I feel very confident including the supplement in my routine, supporting my baby's brain health. And all of their ingredients are made traceable online. You can see exactly where everything comes from, so they're very transparent about where they source their high-quality ingredients. This Natal choline is essenced with citrus, so when you consume it, it is just a very pleasant sensory experience. If you'd like to try Ritual yourself, you can get 25% off your first order by clicking the link below, scanning this QR code, or using code SCIENCE25 at checkout. Number 4, unlimited matcha, aka unlimited caffeine. So I am someone that metabolizes caffeine quite well. I don't do well with coffee, but it's not so much because of the caffeine. I think it's the literal coffee bean that does not agree with my digestive system. So normally I am loving drinking multiple matchas throughout the day. However, meta-analyses show dose-dependent risks with caffeine in pregnancy. And while the risks are moderate, they are significant enough that most OBGYNs will set the 200 milligram cap. And that's exactly what my doctor recommended, that I do not exceed 200 milligrams of caffeine per day. I've tried to figure out exactly how much caffeine is in the specific type of matcha, and it's very unclear. So to err on the side of safety, I just drink one large matcha a day and then call it quits. And one large matcha, depending on where I'm getting it from, could be anywhere from 60 to 150 milligrams of caffeine. And also important to note that certain other foods like chocolate, cocoa, has caffeine as well. So if you are getting caffeine from other sources, you just want to be aware of what contains caffeine. Anywho, what have I been drinking instead? I have been really enjoying iced herbal teas. There's so many delicious herbal tea blends that you can just ice at home. It's super easy. Just leave a tea bag in a giant thing of water overnight and you have delicious iced tea. But I've also been loving making some more sophisticated drinks. One of my favorite healthy drinks that you can buy at the grocery store are these Lagunitas hoppy refreshers. They are so delicious. I've tried other hop waters that are not good at all. This one is so good. I don't know why. Very refreshing, 0 calories, 0 sugar, just sparkling water with a delicious complex flavor that I can't even describe. I don't know. If anyone else is obsessed with these Lagunitas, let me know. But in addition to that, a more homemade version of a sparkling beverage that I've been really enjoying is combining sparkling water with bitters. And this is something I learned from my friend Sabrina. It's actually a great hack as well if you're at a bar and you don't want to be drinking alcohol, but you want to have something fun in your hands that looks kind of like a cocktail. And often you can even get sparkling water plus bitters for free at a bar. Bitters are strong liquid extracts that are made by soaking herbs, roots, and spices in traditionally alcohol, but you can also buy bitters with glycerin or vinegar for a non-alcoholic version. This one here, for example, uses glycerin. Super simple, super safe, also doesn't have any crazy herbs in it that might affect your hormones or something. It just gives some dimension, some depth, some flavor. Bitters are often considered the salt and pepper of cocktails, so I just love using this in sparkling water. Delicious, refreshing, and is a nice substitute to my unlimited matcha habit that I used to have pre-pregnancy. Number 5, melatonin. Melatonin is a hormone that makes us feel sleepy and is an important part of our circadian rhythm. It also crosses the placenta, so there isn't enough human safety data on supplementing melatonin during pregnancy. Obviously, we don't have a lot of clinical trials with pregnant women because it's not really ethical to test things on pregnant women and see how their babies turn out, which is why in the absence of evidence, your doctor is going to recommend erring on the side of caution and just avoiding or eliminating unnecessary things. So I'm someone who does love an occasional sleep aid. I actually interviewed a sleep and melatonin researcher in this video here, which I will link down below. She also personally takes melatonin and recommends taking a little bit of melatonin before bed. So I was in the habit of occasionally using melatonin. However, because we know it crosses the placenta and there's not enough research on it, it's safest to just not take it at all. And instead, 2 options that a lot of doctors will recommend are looking at magnesium glycinate as a sleep aid. Very relaxing. I actually think it's too relaxing. I don't like taking magnesium glycinate. It makes my body feel heavy and I feel a little bit drugged. But it is considered pregnancy safe, so that's one option. What I've been loving instead of melatonin is Unisom. The active ingredient in Unisom is doxylamine, and this is FDA approved for nausea and pregnancy. So not only can it work as a gentle sleep aid, Unisom, especially in combination with vitamin B6, is often prescribed by doctors to help pregnant women who are experiencing a lot of nausea. I have been incredibly fortunate that I haven't been very nauseous, and I wonder if using Unisom as an occasional sleep aid has really helped me in that. There were some days where I didn't use Unisom and I did feel a little bit more nauseous. So I personally think that that really helped me, especially during the first trimester. So I'm now in my second trimester, and in the first trimester is where a lot of women will feel very nauseous, experience a lot of food aversions. Unisom really helped me, I think, keep the nausea at bay, but I was also just very lucky to not have debilitating nausea as some people do. One little recommendation if you are using Unisom for sleep is not to take it too late into the evening, because I feel like whenever I've taken it very late at night, if I go to bed late, I still feel the drowsiness the next morning, so I try to take it earlier in the evening. That way I wake up feeling fully refreshed and don't have a little bit of a drowsiness hangover. Of course, there are lots of non-drug ways to support sleep. Some of my favorites are getting lots of outdoor light exposure during the day. This can really help our body understand when it's daytime, when we should be awake, and when it's nighttime, when it's time to sleep. So if you do have a job that requires you're sitting indoors a lot, I would definitely go for morning walks if you can, or walks at lunchtime, because the amount of light that is outside is so much greater than the amount of light that we see when we're indoors working. Also, just getting a very solid nighttime routine that you do consistently also really helps me go to sleep. Every single night I take a shower before bed, and that has become so deeply associated to sleeping for me that now, even if I take a shower during the day sometimes, which I don't do anymore because it actually makes me tired, it makes me think I'm going to bed when I'm not. So I always shower at night. Just consistent habits and rituals that you do before bed can help tell your brain it's time to wind down. Number 6, saunas. Saunas, hot tubs, and hot yoga can raise our core body temperature above 102 degrees Fahrenheit. That's around 38.9 degrees Celsius. And hyperthermia, especially in early pregnancy, is linked to neural tube defects and later complications. So it's important that we keep our core body temperature within a normal, healthy range when we are pregnant. Saunas are so incredibly healthy for our cardiovascular system, but they can also be very healthy for stress reduction. I think that's really what my husband loves most. He just relaxes in the heat. So my version of meditative warm stress reduction has been not the sauna, but one thing I love to do is take a sensory shower where I'm a little bit more cognizant of maybe having some really nice aromas in there, maybe turning down the lights and turning on nature sounds. There's something so relaxing about a warm shower with nature sounds, kind of in the dark, smelling delicious things. So that's my version of a warm, relaxing experience since I can't go in the sauna. Another thing that I find incredibly relaxing is red light therapy. Now, I don't currently do it on my whole body, but every single morning I meditate with it on my face. And this is another moment that is just so relaxing in my day and boosts my mood. So it's not exactly the same as sauna-ing, but it offers to me a very similar stress reduction, mood enhancement. I really love it. This is something you definitely want to talk to your doctor about and be very mindful of the red light device that you're using on your skin, because pregnancy can change our physiology a lot, including our skin. Some women develop melasma, which can become overly activated with red light therapy masks that have a very strong irradiance. I recently made a video on red light therapy masks and panels where I dive into irradiance and wavelengths a bit more. But basically, irradiance is just the intensity of a red light therapy mask. And I found that if an irradiance exceeds 50 milliwatts per square centimeter, that I get some skin sensitivity. And so for me, the sweet spot is about 30 milliwatts per square centimeter. The mask that I have is this one from the Light Salon. I've been using it for 5 years at this point. I love it so much. Not sponsored, although I am on their website because they hired me for a campaign after I was raving about them. But this is not sponsored. To me, this mask is very gentle. It has 2 simple wavelengths and it's not overly strong. So it has been working really well on my skin for pregnancy. Red light therapy hasn't been extensively studied in pregnant women. So this is again something you want to talk to your doctor about. I have not been doing my full body red light panel though. Just been using my light mask, and it offers a very similar relaxing experience to a sauna. Not quite the same, but a little bit. I want to give a quick last shout out to this book, Expecting Better by Emily Oster. This is an amazing research-backed resource that I highly recommend any pregnant woman read. There's so many things that we don't learn in school that we should be aware of once we become pregnant. Little things like, should we be gardening? The answer, according to data, is no, because we can risk contracting toxoplasmosis. Do I want to eat sushi or do I not want to eat sushi? Is a glass of wine okay? All of these things she gives you data on, and you can make your own empowered decision. And I felt so much more confident going into pregnancy after reading this book. So I highly recommend everyone read it. Perhaps one little side tangent I wanted to share that has been so fascinating is how different I've felt in my body during pregnancy. If you've watched any of my previous content, you might know that I struggle with autoimmune issues and symptoms. It's something I'm currently figuring out, but one thing that pregnancy has blessed me with is with a decreased sensitivity in my body. So it feels like my immune system and the inflammation in my body has just been dialed down. So a lot of foods that used to give me issues and a lot of food sensitivities I had prior to pregnancy have completely disappeared for me. So I'm actually in awe of how positive and beautiful pregnancy has been for me, and I'm incredibly grateful because I know that's not everyone's experience. But I've had a very beautiful, calm, peaceful time. I feel so grounded in my purpose as a human, in my purpose as a future mother, and also my purpose in making helpful health-related content for you guys. This is what I love doing, and I just feel more grounded and peaceful than ever. So I just wanted to share that. I would love to, as always, hear from you guys. I'm sure there are so many mothers in the audience or pregnant women in the audience with their own experiences, but I also would love to hear from the non-pregnant people out there. What are some of your favorite healthy things that help you find balance, reduce stress, make you feel energized? Even though I'm on this new pregnancy journey, I really want my content to remain relevant to any human interested in health and wellness, anyone who wants to fall in love with the process of taking care of themselves so we can all live better, longer lives. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.